hundreds of thousands of people coming through our border. What are they thinking? Why are they not at least pausing this Title 42 expiration?
Well, Eric, it's two things. Number one, they genuinely do not give a damn. And I know that sounds harsh, but if they gave a damn, they would change their policies. When they see 853 migrants who died in the last year crossing illegally, they'd say, let's stop this. When they see 100,000 people who die of drug overdoses, they'd say, let's stop this. When they see women who've been sexually assaulted over and over and over again, when they see kids who've been physically and sexually assaulted over and over and over again, if they cared, they would stop it. But it doesn't matter to them. We all remember AOC in her white pantsuit down at the border with her head in her hands crying. Why was she crying? Because Donald Trump was president. Obviously, she wasn't crying about the plight of the illegal immigrants because the plight has gotten worse and our communities are paying the price. They don't care, number one. But number two, the only explanation I can come up with for why they keep doing this is they look at everyone crossing illegally and they think that is a future Democrat voter. They recognize they can't win elections based on actual policy positions because their socialist policies are unpopular in America. And so they are trying to radically change the electorate in America, and they're willing to allow people to suffer and die in order to achieve that political objective. It really is, it is cynical and it's cruel what Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and every congressional Democrat is doing right now.
It's greedy because they want the votes. You're right. And we're seeing municipalities around the country who are allowing illegals to vote in local elections. It's insane, folks. This is the way it happens. KJP, I believe it was yesterday, Cruz Jean-Pierre said, oh, those walls that Trump built, the wind could blow them over. Take a listen.
Instead of providing the needed resources for more border security technology and asylum officers and judges, it would waste taxpayer dollars on an ineffective wall, again, an ineffective wall that can't even withstand heavy winds, let alone sophisticated criminal smuggling networks.
So, Senator, a couple of years ago, I visited you at the border. I was down at the border. I visited you. We did an interview. We're going to roll a little video of myself at the border. Let me tell you something about that wall behind me. It's galvanized steel steeped in concrete 10, 12 feet down into the ground. What the hell is KJP talking about that won't stand up to wind?
She's a professional liar. Sadly, her performance now, she daily engages in brazen lies. She said last week that under Joe Biden, illegal immigration has decreased 90%. Like that's just insane. It's not kind of sort of true. It's not a spin. It's just a flat out lie. She says people are not just walking across the border. Look, in this interview, you've shown footage of people walking across the border, and she lies day after day after day. Look, I'm going to do something that I bet has never happened before on Newsmax. I'm going to quote from CNN. CNN last week, quote, "It is difficult to describe with words the magnitude of the number of individuals crossing illegally in El Paso." That's CNN. When the propagandists at CNN can't even defend what's happening, that tells you how bad it is. And Cruz Jean-Pierre every day stands up and lies on behalf of the President of the United States.
And somehow we let them get away with it. And final thought, Senator, it's just not Texas, because these people go, and we're now watching Eric Adams in New York worrying about it, Lori Lightfoot in Chicago worrying about the invaders that were pushing to the cities that say, hey, we're all for the sanctuary city situation. This is affecting every single American, is it not, sir?
It is, and you need to understand, when Cruz Jean-Pierre says the wall is ineffective, she's right. Under Joe Biden it is. You know why? Because what a wall does is slow you down, but a wall doesn't work unless you have an administration willing to deport the people once they're apprehended. The reason for this crisis is Joe Biden and Kamala Harris let them go, but it's even worse than let them go. Joe Biden is the last mile of the human trafficking network. They come in, they turn themselves over to the federal government, and Joe Biden puts them on an airplane, puts them on a bus, and takes them to every city in America. You might think, well, gosh, I don't live on the border. This isn't my problem. Well, you know what? If you're in any city in America, Joe Biden is shipping illegal immigrants to your community, many of whom are forced to work in criminal activity working for the drug cartels. It is horrific, and it is a national crisis, as even Democrat mayors are forced to admit when they arrive in their cities.
Senator Ted Cruz, appreciate your time, and thank God for people like Senator Ted Cruz.